Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Rahul Singh and it's a great pleasure to be here in front of everyone. Today I'm going to talk about something very different, right? So we all talk about I did this, this is my story, I have this, right? I'm going to talk a little bit of my first half of my life where there was a lot of I in the story. I want to do this, I want to achieve this, I want to be in the US, create one of the largest companies in my category, yada, yada, yada. But I'll also tell you about the shift that happened where I went from I to what I can give others, right? And what that shift looks like, what actually shaped the culture of EcoSoul, and what really makes us a very unique company in our segment as well as in the world. So, my life starts in Chhattisgarh, right? I'm not sure if there are many people here in Chhattisgarh. When I was born, there was no Chhattisgarh. There was just one Madhya Pradesh, and then Chhattisgarh came in later. But in those areas, I used to go to a sarkari school, okay, जहाँ पे पंखा चला तो चला, नहीं चला तो नहीं चला, okay. So you start with that background, you start understanding the struggle of a common life, and you start having some dreams. मेरा dream बहुत simple था. मेरा dream था 3 Idiots वाला dream. Engineering करेंगे, MBA करेंगे और किसी तरीके से US जाएंगे. And with God's grace, I worked hard enough. Engineering kiya, MBA kiya, and ended up in New York. Became one of the youngest executive directors in JP Morgan. Became one of the youngest managing directors in Citigroup. Became CEO of commercial banking of a top 10 bank in America at the age of 33, right? So having done all of that, this was a story where there was a lot of I in the story. मैं करना चाहता हूँ, मैं बनना चाहता हूँ, मैं prove करना चाहता हूँ, मैं सबसे अच्छा हूँ. All of that, right? When that happened, okay, that's when my son was born. And he was born a preemie. For 2.5 months, we didn't know whether he will live or he will not live. Whether he will survive this 2.5 months or not survive this 2.5 months. And that was the first time I took a step back from my ambitions and I started looking at कि हमारे चारों तरफ क्या हो रहा है. For the first time, I was probably living for my son. I was probably living for my next generation. That was the day when my son was born. I called up my boss and said, I'm resigning from my job. And I was at the pinnacle of my career when I literally called up my boss and said, I cannot come to office even for a single day from here on. I need to take care of my family. For the first time, I really want to focus on my family. From there on, I got very conscious about what you do for your kids, what you build for your kids, and the legacy you leave for the next generation. So as part of that, right, we all know, there is plastic pollution around all of us, right? How many of us hate plastic? Everybody does, right? How many of us see the havoc it is causing in the environment every single day, right? But how many of us are still forced to use single-use plastic? Just think about it for a second. So in that scenario, someone has to pick up the mantle and say कि यार एक बार तो कोई तो उठेगा who will actually give plastic a real run for the money. This was the dream. There was no business plan. There was nothing कि I'll create something very, very big. This was the dream कि why this plastic is so ubiquitous and who can change that, how we can change that. So basically, वहाँ से journey शुरू हुई. We started researching every product. We started researching every material. We contacted a lot of material sciences company that actually has a lot of good technology that can actually turn plastic, non-plastic products as affordable as plastic. तो हम लोगों ने वहाँ से technology ली. We started building the products. Okay, we started supplying the products worldwide, and very gratefully, with God's grace, we can today say. Today, we are one of the world's largest sustainable products company with presence across 11 countries, 20,000 plus stores worldwide, across 11 e-commerce platforms, and 98% of our supply chain sits in India. तो हमारा पूरा focus सिर्फ और सिर्फ इंडिया से है. एक चीज़ मैं आपको बोलना चाहूँगा, it's a shame on us कि we have all the raw material, technology, manpower, everything. We hardly do $200 million worth of exports from India in my product category. China has none of that, and China does $5 billion worth of these product exports. So this is something that EcoSoul is going to change. We are already changing that by being the world's largest company. Not only that, 70% plus of our employees are women. This is by design, this is by choice. Anybody who says that women empowerment is required, you have to help women, I don't think you do. The last thing I would say is that we have replaced 34 million kilograms of plastic from this planet. We have eliminated that. We have eliminated more than 150 million carbon equivalent of carbon dioxide from the planet. We have saved more than 200,000 trees, right? And I think this is what we think, right? Other than a business, this is what we think is our contribution to this planet and to our society is. Thank you.